Those sounds are Ethan scooting his chair in.
That's not going to make the episode.
We hope not. Hello, and welcome back to Hintzes.
This will make the episode.
Okay, welcome back to Hintzes in the House. Today, we are talking about New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
New Year's Eve.
Well, it's like both and. The New Year holiday.
This week, talking about New Year's Eve. Next week, you'll have to come back to hear about New Year's Day.
That's not true. We're talking about the whole encompassing of New Year's Eve. Most people don't really celebrate New Year's Day. Like, New Year's Eve is the celebration.
Well, I think most people celebrate New Year's Day as soon as it happens.
Right.
And then go about the rest of their lives for the rest of
But I just mean, like, when you think
day.
about it, people celebrate Christmas Day, not as much Christmas Eve.
Right.
So it's
I wouldn't say
flunked.
people celebrate New Year's Eve, like, all day. Like, usually it's
That's
like...
true. The last few hours of the
Right,
evening.
like, 8, o'clock is, like, if you're going to have, like, a party until the new year, you'll a lot of times start your party, like, 7, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then go into the wee hours of the morning.
Right. What are we doing?
I don't know. Probably sleeping. I have to be at work at 4:45
Yep.
the
I was
next
going to
day.
say, probably nothing. I feel like I haven't stayed up to ring in the new year in quite some time. I typically just go to bed and then I'm like, hey, it's the next year. Look at that. When Garrett and Char lived here, we would go to Garrett's parents' house and that was fun.
We did that one time, I believe, yes.
I think twice. Either way, that's probably the last time that we did it once because we were driving back in town. And then we did it one other time, I think. Oh. Other than that, we just don't stay up.
I mean, I would, but you
Right.
don't.
I
so.
sure don't. It would have to be under the right circumstances. Are we hanging out with Brock and Camille? Are we playing games? Like,
Well, and like
that's an easy midnight.
Like the Dick Clark Rockin' New Year's Eve show. It's gotten so terrible the last
That's
couple
true.
of years that it's just like
Not worth staying up
not
for.
even interesting to watch anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it never was like super interesting per se, but like the personality hosts that they have on it now are usually like
And the performances are just
the bands and the
sad.
performances are just kind of
Yeah.
like, and they like always cut away to like New Orleans doing their party and Los
It's
Angeles
like
doing their
very
party.
little time actually spent in New York City.
It's kind of like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yeah.
It has just kind of become like
Degraded over time. It is great to watch the memes roll out the next day.
I don't
in
know.
the next couple of days, but
I don't know what memes you're talking about.
any general memes of mishaps or unfortunate events.
Oh, so not like a meme.
No. I just think of like...
It's funny to watch about the memes. So not a meme. No, not a meme.
Well, kind of a meme. I think of like Left Shark at the Super Bowl. Like that became a meme.
Yeah, but...
So I just think of that kind of like if anything funny or off-kilter happens. When I was growing up, we did this thing called New York New Year's Eve at the church. And I lived in California at the time. And so they would do their party and they would do a balloon drop at 9 p.m. because that was midnight on the East Coast. And so all the kids then got to, celebrate and participate. Sparkling cider abounded. And my mom was part of the event planning thing. Like, she was one of the event coordinators at the church. And so I remember being there with other little munchkins my age blowing up balloons into oblivion. Like, literally just blowing up balloons for this balloon drop the same way that the ball drops in NYC. But they would decorate the whole place to be, like, New York City themed. And we had, like, Statue of Liberty cutouts and all these, like, photo op things. And I don't think there was, like, gambling, but it was, fun, like, games.
There wasn't, like, the slot machine somewhere?
No, that's Vegas. But there was, like, I don't know, New York-themed games and prizes and fun things for everyone to do. And, of course, there was food for days at this New York New Year's Eve party. The NYNYE, if you will.
NYNYE.
And that was always a fun thing when I was growing up. I don't know how long we were at that church until we moved, like, across...
to
California.
New York?
No, not until we moved to New York, till we moved to the other side of California. And then the other thing that we always did, and I think we briefly mentioned this in the episode where Ethan's butt was in a trash can.
Yeah, because...
I did not put you into a trash can!
we were preparing for the new year.
We were.
And you just had to throw me in the trash one more time before the new year.
It's true. You just gotta... Well, and that was for the Derby dinner because I did not know how to say hors d'oeuvres when I was a child, if you missed that part of the story. But we would just make a bunch of appetizers or hors d'oeuvres for dinner, and that would be our dinner. And so in that episode, we were making like spinach artichoke dip cups, which were great, and we haven't made them since. I think you maybe have PTSD.
Making
I think
spinach artichoke cups?
Dip cups. Sorry, I don't know what I said, but they were like spinach artichoke dip in a like dough cup. So it was like in a muffin tin. They were very good.
So you just eat.
Yeah.
You weren't actually dipping stuff in it.
Right.
I don't have PTSD from getting thrown in the trash can.
He just blocked out this whole memory.
I'm kind of used to it, you know.
I think that I made a pepperoni pizza bread that night. And that was the only thing that didn't work. All of these were new appetizers, which was already like, that was dumb. Or like new or very basic. Work? It worked, but it didn't taste good. Well, I think it both got overcooked.
Overcooked, by the way, great game. That is if you're not doing anything New Year's Eve,
just play Overcooked.
Get Overcooked, find a significant other, and sit down and play Overcooked. Or
an insignificant other.
Yeah. Find a homeless guy on the streets. I don't care.
Well, that's
whoever you want to invite into your house and play a video game with.
Oh, I'm sorry for suggesting the significance of people. Anyway, it got a little overcooked, but the recipe called for like 2 tablespoons, I think, of Italian seasoning, and so I followed the recipe, but 2 tablespoons was like 1.5 tablespoons too many. It was like way, way, way over seasoned. And then it was also overcooked, and it was like, otherwise it would have been great. It was like some bread dough, some pepperonis, some Italian seasoning in a bundt cake pan.
It was overcooked and way too overseasoned, but other than that, totally great.
I just don't remember anyone eating it, because I think that it was my first New Year's with your family, and so they were probably trying to be courteous, but like no one touched it. We also did like the basics, pigs in a blanket.
Was trying to be courteous.
We did pigs in a blanket. We did the spinach artichoke dip cups.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. I think that's the first time we did those caprese skewers. That is my go-to.
Well, that's not the first time I've ever had caprese skewers.
Salad. No, but...
Not the first time I've ever had caprese skewers.
Oh, look at you. Fancy pants.
Yeah, I am fancy.
Caprese
fancy guy.
In case you were wondering, caprese salad is an Italian thing typically made of thick slices of mozzarella, thick slices of tomato, basil, and balsamic vinaigrette with salt and pepper and olive oil. However, you can miniaturize them and get the little like mozzarella balls and the cherry tomatoes, and then still have your little bits of basil and put them on a toothpick. That was my go-to for like every party for like 2 years, 3 years.
Caprese salad in a long time.
It's true.
And the best part was a lot of people wouldn't eat them because there was like cookies and
there was a bunch of other stuff
cupcakes
when we would go to those parties.
That kind of stuff to eat. And so I'd be like, cheese and tomatoes? Yeah, I'm down. So I'd just be eating all of them.
I know. And then I think that's probably why I stopped making them, is because you would intentionally finish them. And I'm like, don't make yourself sick. And you're like, I gotta eat them.
Because they were good. I didn't feel like I had to eat them because I needed to eat them.
I think Brett joined you one year in eating all of the rest of them.
Because they're really good. People, trust me, people were not eating them because they felt obligated.
I feel like there's a lot of...
No one is eating anything because they feel obligated to eat them.
I feel like there's a lot of variation there as well. You could add black olives if you wanted to. I know sometimes I used to add pepperoni. Because I love me some pepperoni. So, yeah.
Pepperoni.
I love me a caprese skewer. So that's typically what we would do, is the Derby dinner and then ring in the new year and, you know.
The Derby year?
The Derby dinner.
Derby year dinner.
Don't know what we'll do this year. Don't have any plan. Like you said, you work. So maybe we do a Derby dinner anyway, just earlier in the evening.
Or we celebrate the new year on the next day.
On the next day. Actual New Year's Day. Don't worry. We have sparkling cider on hand. Okay.
We always have it on hand. Always got to be prepared.
That's not
We're like
true.
The Boy Scouts of sparkling
cider. We do not always have to be prepared with sparkling cider. Or I should say we do not always have it on hand, but it's one of the little joys of life. Like, I would choose sparkling cider more often than I would choose alcohol.
Yeah, I would choose anything before I would choose alcohol.
You would choose spoiled milk before you would choose alcohol.
Well, maybe not that far.
For those of you listening, you can't see, and for those of you watching, you probably also can't see, but Azula is here. making an appearance.
Azula joined the fight.
She does not want to be on camera.
She's like, no paws on the table. Goodbye.
Yeah. There she goes. Okay. She snuck in here for a minute, and she's sneaking back. So if we're looking down off screen...
We need to we just need to have her lay down somewhere and then get a second camera that we can cut away to. Have
that'd be so nice.
The pup cam that we can just cut to.
We should set that up periodically so we can monitor them.
Yeah, for real.
So yeah, I don't know. Did you guys do anything else in particular in your house growing up for New Year's Eve?
Not really. Like we would usually have some sort of dinner plans, right. Hang out, whatever. Mom would make appetizers or something,
Yeah.
And yeah, then we just stay up until New Year's. It was never like in my family like a big deal to like stay up until
midnight.
The New Year. Like half the time everyone fell asleep on the couch because it was like no one really cared. Like right. the even back then, like the New Year's Eve show was not like so phenomenal that it was like we gotta stay up and watch this, it's so good. It was kind of like maybe there will be a band on that we like that we want to listen to.
I feel like if I had known ahead of time, like if I nowadays you can see the lineup ahead of time, and so I feel like I would like look it up and be like, all right, I'll wait for this one band and then watch them and be done. Thanks, computer.
Virus threat not detected. Don't worry, guys. No viruses or threats here. But like for us boys, like as soon as the new year hit, it was like the mad scramble of like, I'm gonna be the first person to do X in the new year. So we'd be like running around the house like, I mean, it's fun. I was the first person to go pee in the new year. I was the first person to open the fridge in the new year.
At night.
First person to run around outside the house the new year, just random stuff.
Hi, Azula. That's not for you.
It's a fake apple. It doesn't taste good.
Call back to the golden apple.
Was that a callback too?
Mm-hmm. From the birthday episode.
I never know what...
I figured New Year's is kind of a gold event.
I guess so. Recently, I think Calvary has been doing like nights of worship that they'll bring in the new year.
They used to do movie nights, right?
I was going to say, I can't remember what they used to do.
I feel like they used to show like... I'm
pretty sure they used to do something.
I won't say cheesy Christian movies, but Christian movies, because I don't want to offend people, but like they would show like Fireproof. One year they showed like Prayer Room.
Oh yeah.
Or War Room.
War Room.
So yeah, that was a thing.
'Cause when I fight my battles, I'll fight on my knees. Isn't there a Phil Wickham song or something?
I don't know.
Like that goes something like that. I probably butchered it because I don't listen to mainstream.
I was thinking of the song like
Christian
This
pop.
Is How I Fight My Battles.
Oh yeah, that one.
That was that the one? Great.
No, that was not the one.
Oh, okay. That's a different one.
That is one, but
not the same one.
There's a different. I don't know if it's Phil Wickham or like Big Daddy Weave. I don't know. Like I said, I don't listen to the mainstream.
I'm sorry, who?
Big Daddy Weave.
Who the heck?
He's a Christian artist.
I don't know if I trust any Christian artist named Big Daddy. Anything.
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
Big Daddy Weave.
So, that's New Year's. Do you have any other, I don't know, New Year's thoughts? And do you have any plans for the new year? Have you ever done a New Year's resolution thing?
No, yeah, I was going to say, like, I never really got into, like, the New Year's resolutions. For me, like, doing a New Year's resolution kind of seems like, oh, you're so sad.
Doing a New Year's resolution seems like you're so sad. Great.
No. Doing a New Year's resolution just kind of seems like pointless.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's my thing.
It's like you can make a change at any time. Why wait until the beginning of the year?
It encourages people to not change.
Right.
Like, if you eat poorly, you shouldn't wait until January 1st of 2022 to change your eating habits. You should make decisions, to actively change your lifestyle or start working out or whatever it may be. Like, that's typically working out, eating healthy.
Well, and I would say, I feel like that
those are like the big ones.
Usually happens that way because it's a cycle, right? Like, so your New Year's resolution is to eat healthier or work out, right? Gyms run a lot of promotions to be cheaper. Meal kit plans or diet plans will run a lot of promotions to be cheaper when the new year starts. And so you get on and you get going and you're all pumped. And at some point along the way, you lose steam. And then the holidays hit. And when the holidays hit, there's a lot of food involved. Christmas, Thanksgiving, like there's just a lot of food happening in the later months of the year. And so it comes back around to the first and you're like, oh crap, I've been eating like crap, which may or may not be true. Like you don't know how badly you've been eating, but because of those last few months of the year, like it's all amplified. And so you're like, I got to get back on a plan. And so then you like restart on the first.
Right. And that's the main problem is people don't make sustainable life choices.
Right.
Some people can literally just be like, I will never eat sugar again. And they can just out of sheer willpower make that happen.
Yeah.
Most people are not wired like that. So for most people going into the new year saying, I'm not going to eat sweets and I'm going to exercise 5 times a week, not a sustainable thing to just suddenly happen. Like people would be way better off if they were like, I'm going to supplement, I'm going to stop drinking soda, you know, like make one relatively easy, sustainable change and then like say, and I'm going to go to the gym twice a week or do some sort of physical activity twice a week. And once you get in the habit of doing that, it becomes much easier to then supplement other meals and start going to the gym on a more regular basis. Like once you establish that as your routine, I don't know how long it takes for
a good habit takes 21 days
to solidify.
Well, to like start and like from start 21 days to have a habit.
Okay. Yeah.
So says the internet. I don't know.
Right. But still, I think that trying to make something too drastic is not sustainable in any fashion.
Well, and especially when it comes to physical changes in either what you eat or...
Yeah, the acoustics in this room are so great.
Especially when it comes to physical changes for your body or your, like... Anything that you do that's too extreme is going to get overwhelming really quick. So, especially when it comes to, like, physical changes for your body, if you're like, you know, I'm going to work out this amount, this time, you know, like, you get sore, you get tired, and you're less likely to continue to follow
people
through.
Go into it and they're like, I'm going to work out 5 days a week. And it's like, you can definitely work up to that level of athleticism that is required to work out 5 days a week. But if you have gone the last 7 years not working out at all, and then you jump and you try and work out 5 days a week in the new year,
so fast.
Yeah, you're going to be so sore, you're hardly going to be able to move because your body is not used to that kind of change. And to try and shock your system like that into a new habit isn't going to happen. And like even you, I already eat relatively healthy, I would say. Like, you know, compared to maybe the average person, like I cut out soda a long time ago.
And he had a soda today. Let me tell y'all. It was a wild experience because he doesn't have soda anymore. He usually has sparkling waters.
Like once a month, maybe.
Yeah.
Like,
and we're talking like, you know, Azula.
Yeah, tell everyone about it.
We're talking the types of soda that's, you know, your Coke, your Sprite, your root beer. Like, we're talking heavy sodas.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried to cut out pretty much all soda and all. I mean, for me, a sustainable change in my life was cutting out sugary drinks, because that was also a lot of the time how I would get a lot of my processed sugars was through like beverages. Sugary drinks.
Bevies.
So it was a pretty relatively easy and sustainable habit.
There's so much sugar hiding in bevies that people don't know about.
Exactly. Even like health, like those liquid IV things that I was drinking for a while. Like there's like 26 grams of added sugar in those things.
Added sugar is what really gets you, and that's in all things.
Right, exactly.
But anyway, so you made your soda stop. Yeah. But there wasn't, you didn't wait for the new year to come around.
Right, well, I was going to say I did that, and that was relatively easy. But then a couple of months ago, I cut out all sugar, like all added sugar for a month. Yep. And that was really difficult, even for me, who
typically eats healthy anyway. Right, you love vegetables, you love salads, you love...
There's nothing out there.
She's like, I could be out there.
She's like, can I get outside through that window? No, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, you eat generally healthy when
Right,
it's available
but even,
to you.
and I think a thing that people don't even think about going into it is like mood changes. Like,
Yeah.
because you even saw like there were days where I was like really grumpy
Yeah.
just because I was used to having this sugar and like the glucose and whatever, and it just wasn't happening.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna take this dog upstairs.
Yeah, I don't know what her deal is. Bye, Azula. She's gone. I don't know what her deal was. You know, she was just oppressed. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes we get oppressed. What are you going to do about it? You know, you just gotta go upstairs, I guess, when you're oppressed. Welcome back.
She can go annoy Kylo now.
That's she always
She's his
does.
problem.
Yeah, I feel like that is a true thing, the mood changes. I remember for a while I was doing no sugar, no dairy for 5 out of the 7 days of the week or something like that. And that was also really difficult. The thing that, when it comes to food, I don't know how we got derailed into foods. Sorry. We can get back on track in a second. But when it comes to food, I have a lot of feelings, and so that's why we're not going to take this too far. But I was just obsessive about it, and I was checking all of my labels so constantly. Like, it was an obsessive thing for me, which was more damaging long term.
Right. I was going to say, which is fine. You can get to that point, but the mentality needs to be different. Like the way you were doing it was obviously
really bad.
an unhealthy way for you to be doing it. Whereas like for me, I'm at the point where I can do that, you know, and I set realistic goals. Like I was not like, I'm going to cut out all sugar for the rest of my life.
Right.
Maybe someday I could get to that point, but that's not this point.
Right.
And so I was like, I'm just going to do this for a month, you know, and it's like, and I went into it with, I'm going to do this to the best of my ability.
Right.
I was like, if I drink orange juice and there's added sugar in orange juice, like.
And I didn't know about it.
Or like, even if I did know about it, like, I'm just not going to, like, I'm not going to be myself. Like, I don't care that much.
I think that diet culture has, and men too, but I would say more specifically to women, like, has made it such an obsessive thing of, like, you have to do all of these things perfectly. And so I think that, and it could just be my personality as well, but it was so much less mentally healthy than it was physically. You know what I'm saying? Like the mental health benefits or the physical health benefits did not outweigh the mental health detriment to any quote unquote diet plan of any kind that I was ever doing.
But again, for me, you know, I didn't have that mentality going into it. So for me, you know, like I said, the most difficult thing for me was like just the weird like mood changes of like my body like adjusting to having no sugar and just kind of like
it's in so many things that you don't notice.
Well, and so you get a ton of, it's really interesting. You get a ton of cravings because your body is used to having that sugar and like making the glucose and all of like, it's just used to getting all that sugar. So then when you cut it out, you feel constantly hungry because your body's like, I'm hungry, and you're not really hungry. It's just like, I want the sugar. I want the sugar.
Right.
So you eat like good food and your body's like, okay, I'm full. But then like half an hour later, it's like, I'm hungry because I didn't get that sugar hit. So I'm hungry. Like go grab some gummy bears, you know? So like fighting through that was like the most difficult part.
But the main point is you do not wait until the start of the year to make a life change.
So maybe, you know, I'll try that again. And again, I mean, it's easy to track from like month to month. So I would maybe do that like from January to February, just because it's easy to track from the beginning of the month to the beginning of the next month. I always love the idea of
starting something at the beginning of a month. Not necessarily the new year, because I feel like that's, you know, say you want to make a decision or make a change in June, and you're like, well, now I'm stuck until January. Like, so I always love the idea of starting something fresh at the beginning of a month.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've ever had New Year's resolutions, just like you said, like not related to food or body. Like I would say I'm trying to think of other categories of New Year's resolutions. And some people I feel like that's the main one for most people. It's like, I'm going to start running, or like, you know, some subset of food and body. But I feel like, I don't know, I think maybe one year I had a New Year's resolution of I'm going to write every day, like poetry kind of thing. I think I made it through August, and then that stopped. Something along the line, you know, like those other kind of good things. I don't think I've ever started a planner at the beginning of the year. Again, the beginning of the month, but not at the beginning of maybe. I don't know. But again, that tends to fall off the rails. Like if I wait and I like buy it and I'm ready. Most planners actually run like July to December of the next year. So it's a little weird. Or July to July. Like it's just a weird structure because they're school planners.
Oh, okay.
So they don't really run January to December, which
Right.
is how when you're not in school, most people run their lives. So yeah, by the time I think about it, that I want to get a planner, like they all start, I think, in like August. They run like, yeah, August to July. And so then it's like, oh, I should get a planner when all the planners come out in like August. And then I'm like, I don't need a planner. I have my life sorted out for this year. And then
Basically, what this is coming down to is January 1st is coming up here, like 5 days
Next week,
away.
yeah.
So, like, perfect time to start something for sure, beginning of the month. But, like, don't go out and buy a gym membership that you're not going to use. Make a sustainable
Make a realistic
lifestyle to
choice.
I'm going to do a home workout twice a month. And once you're in the habit of working out and it becomes something that you regularly do and that you enjoy, then you can be like, okay, I'll buy a gym membership.
Well, and there are
Because you're just like buying this New Year's like
there's some things too
is
that
a waste of money.
I think for women, again, I could be speaking just for myself, but that can incentivize you, right? So you're like, okay, I'm going to buy this new sports bra and I'm going to use it to like work out. I know that I had a friend that I used to go to the gym with and she would like incentivize herself of if I keep this goal, like, or if I keep this habit for this amount of time, I'll reward myself with new workout blank leggings, sports bra, whatever it is. And so then it's like this fun, like treat for yourself to continue.
I was going to say, that's a better way to do it. Like, rather than being like, I'm going to go buy all the most expensive workout clothing I can get my hands on right now, so I'm prepared to go in, just get an old pair of shorts, an old t-shirt, just regular clothes.
Or buy like one relatively cheap new thing to incentivize yourself. I think of all of like the little like I bought a different friend a hairbrush to incentivize herself to do wash day, and it worked. It really, it's one of those like, I'm excited to have this and it's gonna motivate me to do this thing I don't want to do.
Right, but it's like, don't go out and like buy like a Peloton bike.
Absolutely not.
In the beginning of the year, like
Peloton is highway robbery.
Buy a cheap workout bike, and then if you really love it and you really get into it, then you can splurge on something nice that you like to use. But like,
or if you're like us and you don't really love it and you don't really use it and it still sits in your basement, like me, you'll be glad you didn't buy the Peloton.
that was a great investment for you.
Exactly. I think it was like, I don't know, $150 or something.
I have no idea.
Definitely not a Peloton, but again, glad we didn't just throw a bunch of money at a Peloton and then you just have a $2,000 exercise bike with a subscription. Yeah.
So really what I'm hearing is
highway robbery.
Get off your lazy butt, eat a carrot, and go jogging.
No. And the other thing that is important to remember are there are other New Year's resolutions that are not revolved around
sure.
weight and body
and
health.
Having better relationships with people, whether it be a spouse or family members or your friends or whoever.
Right. It could be you instill date night at the beginning of the year if that's not something that you're doing. It could be that you instill a monthly brunch with some girlfriends.
Right.
Or guy friends.
Or you're gonna
guys can brunch.
Co-ed,
Or that.
What?
Or you like join a life group, or you join a club, or start a new hobby or something.
More often than you are.
Right.
Setting aside dedicated time.
Is this necessary?
Yeah, it's all necessary.
Okay. I'm just saying. There's a lot more that's not just food and body related. And
right. Those are the big ones that everyone thinks about.
Right. I would advise you this New Year's to think outside of the fitness box and find a different resolution that you would like to instill in your life. I
mean, you should definitely be taking care of yourself if you're listening to this. You should, if you're not already,
I just mean, don't set unrealistic fitness goals or health goals. Please do not go on a diet. We can talk more about that at a different time. And
there's nothing wrong with diets.
I'm going to just leave that.
There's a problem with unsustainable diets. There's nothing wrong with having a sustainable diet. Okay. Everything you eat.
Right.
If
Ethan
you
and I define
didn't eat you would die.
Ethan
and
and
everything you
I
eat is technically part of your diet.
define the
so
word.
to change your diet. Right, because, yeah, going on a diet
Thank you.
makes it sound bad.
Exactly.
But changing your diet is not bad. Being on a specific diet, I would not call that, like, yeah, you don't need to go on, like, this lose 30 pounds diet.
What I'm trying to say
Go on a sustain.
is
Don't just try and start keto. That's not going to happen.
for most people that know what a diet is in the traditional term of a diet, do not go on a diet. Thank you. For people who have Ethan's definition of a diet, do whatever you want. That's what I'm going to say on that. But find something unrelated. Yes, take care of yourself. Obviously, we are never going to be an advocate.
Maybe spend a little more time outside this year. I mean, not if you live in South Dakota, because you'll freeze to death.
But yeah,
maybe
find
look outside a little more often.
Unrelated New Year's resolution that doesn't cause you, and something that you are committed to, as committed as you can be, but still have grace for yourself if it doesn't all go to plan, right? Like, we don't want to be creating these obsessive mindsets of like, I have to do this, or I am the worst person and I have to stick to this, and like,
okay,
you know,
again,
just don't let your anxiety increase, you know, like, and maybe that's your New Year's resolution. Maybe you meditate every day or pray more.
Or maybe you're one of those people that can just cut out sugar for the rest of your life and you start on January 1st. More power to you.
Yeah.
Wish I could do that.
Listen, to think the fact that you would never enjoy an Oreo again.
They're not that good anyways.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
tragic.
Excuse me as I go throw myself into the trash can this New Year's.
And we hope that you have a happy and safe New Year's. Stay home.
I hope you have a reckless and dangerous New Year's.
I mean, go out and party if you want, but stay safe, you know, don't be stupid.
Reckless
my mom used to always,
dangerous.
Once I had my license, I would have to come home before a certain period of time because she didn't trust other people on the road. So, be safe. Stay home. Or get to some location and stay there for New Year's. A secondary location and stay there.
Okay.
Play some games with some friends, eat some good food, and we'll see you in 2022.
See you next year.